Yeah, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Okay, right. So we just continue with the last class. I think last class we have discussed about the concept of Industry 4.0, right? And how it has been evolved in Germany, and what was the industrial revolution started from Industry 1.0 to 4.0 we have discussed. Okay, so some of the brief points we have discussed. Next, now after understanding the basics of Industry 4.0, we'll move on to understand what are the functions of Industry 4.0. Okay, now these functions are also considered as the design principles, or can also be called as the features, or also called as the functions. Okay, now be clear in the examination whether it's going to design principles of Industry 4.0, functions of 4.0, or features of 4.0. So these are the four functions which are going to be listed. Okay, the first one is called as interoperability. Okay, right. What you mean by interoperability is simple. Okay, when you say an interoperability, it means how well you have been communicating, or you have been interfaced with the other devices. Okay, so that is what is the meaning. So when I say other devices, okay, in a sense, what are the other devices it's going to be when we are going to study about the other devices? So basically, you need to understand that there are plenty of devices which are going to be present in the manufacturing environment. So that means, as you can observe, so we'll be having what are called as the machines. Okay, we'll be having the devices in a sense, what are called as your the machineries. Okay, machines, devices are nothing but your A bar D converters, D bar A converters, all that, and you have what are called as the sensors and the people. Now, interoperability indicates how these different machines are going to be connected with each other, and how the communication you can able to make it up. Okay, that is the first and the foremost function of your interoperability. Otherwise, if you can't able to achieve this interoperability, the main function of the Industry 4.0 cannot be met, because Industry 4.0 mainly deals with interacting with the various contents present in the shop floor. Okay, that is first thing. Then we have what is called as information transparency. Okay, information transparency. Now in case of information transparency, now basically what is the amount of transparency that you are going to get during the information process? That means the transparency afforded by Industry 4.0 technology provides operators with vast amount of useful information needed to make appropriate decision. Now means to say, in case of the Industry 4.0, now as I said earlier, so we have various different components which are going to be there. Now with respect to all these components, you may have to make certain decisions. Okay, now when to start with the operation, when to end with the operation, what are all the decisions that you need to take if there is going to be a deviation. Okay, now in this case, the information transparency is very much required. This can achieve if you have communicated with them properly. That is the meaning. Okay, that is useful information needed to make appropriate decision. Okay, now this can be made by having what is called the better interconnectivity. Okay, by having a better interconnectivity, it is possible for us to achieve what is called the information transparency. Then next we have what is called technical assistance. Okay, now technical assistance is nothing but, now what is the amount of support that you can able to get, okay, out of the humans which are going to be present. The technical assistance is with respect to the ability of the system to support humans. Okay, so in a better manner. Okay, now that is the one. And one more thing is, I think we have discussed what is called as cyber physical systems. Okay, in the very introductory case, in detail we'll discuss later. So how the cyber physical systems are going to be physically connected. Okay, now how the cyber physical systems are physically connected is what is something related to called as the technical assistance. Then the next one is called as your decentralized decision. Okay, basically now in case of decentralized decision, it says the ability of cyber physical systems to make simple decision on their own, okay, and perform their task as autonomously as possible. Okay, means to say, in case of cyber physical system, basically cyber physical systems are nothing but the individual physical systems. Okay, how the individual physical systems have been connected. Okay, how the individual physical system, once again, ಸರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಹಾಂ ಸರ್. Okay, now how the decentralized decision, okay, is going to be present. Okay, so that is what is the meaning of this. Okay, but these are the four different functions of industry 4.0. Now this is going to be an important one. Okay, this is called as the components of industry 4.0 or the pillars of industry 4.0. Okay, now we'll just discuss. So these are all the 9 different pillars. Okay, 9 different pillars of the industry 4.0. So one by one we'll try to understand. Okay, right. Now let's start with the industrial internet of things. Okay, now when we say about the industrial internet of things, let's first start with what is called as IoT. Okay, IoT is nothing but your internet of things. Now what is just the meaning of IoT is, now we have what are called as the smart devices. Okay, we have smart devices, we have smartphones, we have the laptops, we have tablets, or we have all different, or your the Fitbit watches, whatever it is. Okay, all are called as smart devices. Now the internet of things says about how the networking can be possible, or how the connectivity can be possible with these different types of the smart devices. Okay, now you can understand that you have plenty of smart devices in and around. Okay, now in individual smart devices have their own functionalities. Okay, if you can combine the functionality of the smart devices in order to make it as a single unit, then we call it as what is called as the internet of things. Basically the internet of things refers to the networking and connectivity of smart devices. Okay, now how you can able to network and connect the smart devices. Okay, now with respect to manufacturing, okay, generally IoT is applicable to all the devices. Okay, but if you are going to connect the devices which are pertaining to the manufacturing industry, then we have called one more word called as the IIoT. Okay, IIoT is nothing but industrial internet of things. Okay, that is in the world of manufacturing, this technology is often referred to as industrial internet of things. Now in case of manufacturing, basically what are the connecting devices is important. Generally you can understand the health of the devices by having what are going to be called as the sensors. Okay, this is very important. It is manufacturers are attaching sensors to machines. Manufacturers are attaching sensors to machines and other physical assets on the plant floor to collect the data. Okay, to collect the data which influence the decision. Now, as you are aware that we want certain information from the shop floor. Okay, maybe how many products that we have produced, or what is the temperature level at this particular point, or what is the vibration characteristics of a particular machine. All that can be checked by you having what are called as the sensors. Okay, now sensors are nothing but the devices which gives the information. Now if you can collect the different information from the sensors, you can collect the different informations from the sensors and network them together and connect them together, you have achieved what is called the industrial internet of things. Therefore, with reference to industry 4.0, this is one of the important parameter or the important component. In a way, it gives the information so that we can take the appropriate decisions. Okay, then we have what is called as cyber security. Okay, so in case of cyber security, so basically you can understand cyber security is nothing but what? It's a main responsible entity to make sure that the devices are going to be safe. Now, as we have discussed in the functions, okay, one of the function was interoperability. Okay, in interoperability, what we are told is we are going to connect the devices, we are going to connect the machines, we are going to connect the human being, we are going to connect the sensors. Okay, that is what we have discussed. Okay, very important to observe. That is, machines are going to be connected, devices are going to be connected, sensors are going to be connected, and people are going to monitor all this. When you are doing all this, very important thing is the security of those devices is going to be very, very important. Therefore, the cyber security is responsible. This component is responsible to make sure that to give the protection to the stored information. Okay, now the information may be what? The information may be on a device or maybe on the network. There should not be any spamming which is going to occur. There should not be any the problem or a hacker which are going to hack the data. That should not supposed to be occur. Okay, now the system is capable to protect the information from threats like computer strikes or even from physical kind of threats. That means cyber security is mostly related to making sure that your data is going to be safe. Okay, that it is not going to be hacked by the other intruders. Okay, that is the main component. Okay, then we
You,
have,
sir.
yeah,
So what is computer strike, sir?
what is that?
Computer strikes.
No, no, computer strike is nothing but, okay, as we just have threats like computer strikes is nothing but the hackers. Okay, now what is that? I can say that it is hacking your systems. Okay, or you will get the mails. No, okay, some different mails. Okay, from some person. Okay, recently it has also occurred. Okay, that is called the computer strikes. The general meaning of computer strike is nothing but now wherein some people are going to create some malicious mail. Okay, and send the thing, and if we by chance if we are going to click upon that, okay, it is redirected to some other, and some problems are going to occur. Okay, that is the meaning of that computer strikes all about. Okay, so right, then next we have what is called a cloud computing. Okay, now the concept of cloud computing is, probably you might be aware that what is going to happen is, so you have plenty of devices now. Okay, you have plenty of devices, and there is going to be a requirement of, or there is going to be generation of large amount of data. Okay, there is a generation of large amount of data. Okay, now that is what it says. Now with the advent of IoT and Industry 4.0, the reality is the data is being generated at a staggering speed and at high volumes. Okay, now, how are you going to handle this data? Okay, now the question is, in order to handle the data, you should have an individual server at your own area. Okay, that means everybody has to maintain what is called as the infrastructure in order to store that particular data. Now, is it really possible? Okay, is it really possible to store that data? Okay, in an individual infrastructure within the facility. Now, that is the question. Okay, now in order to make this to happen, okay, in order to reduce the problem of having the infrastructure which is going to be used to store and manage the data more effectively, there is one more thing which has come into picture, is called as the cloud computing. Okay, now what it says, what generally the cloud computing says is, now you put the information in the cloud. What does it mean? The cloud computing offers a platform for users to store and process vast amounts of data on remote servers. Okay, now we will be having a remote servers which you can able to access, okay, by paying some amount, okay, to the service provider, maybe your AWS server, or your that is what the Amazon server or the Google server, whatever it is. They are going to store your data, and to communicate to that data, you are going to have some amount of money, rather than having a individual server which is going to cost you more. Okay, now that is the general meaning. Then it enables the organization, this is important. It enables the organization to use computer resources without having to develop a computing infrastructure on premise. Okay, that is what is important. Okay, that means you need not to have, okay, the organization need not to have a sophisticated infrastructure in order to store all the data, but rather you can have this cloud computing, or the cloud, you can access the cloud, so that you can still go with carrying out the operations. And the term cloud computing refers to the information being stored in the cloud accessed remotely via the internet. Okay, therefore, the very much requirement is you should have a good amount of internet, okay, so as to access the concept of cloud. Now, what is this point is going to be very important nowadays, is with respect to larger amount of data being gathered from the resources. Okay, large amount of data is going to be there. Now, storing the data is going to be much more difficult. Then the next thing is a big data analytics. That is this one is what is called as your you have a data. Okay, fine. The data you have stored in what is that called as your cloud. Okay, you have stored that in data in the cloud, and you have retrieved that data through the internet, whatever it is, that is done. Now, what are you going to do with this big data is very important. Okay, now generally the data analytics, okay, is going to be a very vast subject, wherein how are you going to analyze the data. Okay, now let's assume that there are some around 500,000 data you can put across onto your what is a general simple example I'm giving. You put across onto your Google sheet, okay, or into your Excel sheet, and you can have a plotting, you can have a statistical methods, you can make use, all that you can do. That is mainly for what, a simple strategy. It's a simple statistical purpose. Okay, or some statistical tools are also going to be available. You can use that, and you can come to some conclusion about the data what you are having. But the question is, if you are going to have a very larger amount of data, and the data set is going to be diverse, and it is complex. Okay, now let's take an example, the height of the students in the college. Okay, that's a fairly a simple amount of data, maybe not much of the larger variation provided the same age group. Okay, now that is one data. Then now more amount of the what is that, the height, then that is come, then to that, okay, the weight factor is come into picture. Okay, then to that, okay, the other characteristics of the human being has come to picture. Means what is that we are trying to add is, we are trying to add the diverse data sets. Okay, that means the data which is going to be in terms of the height, the data is in terms of weight, the data is being measured in terms of some other means. Okay, if all the data is going to be there, and if you want to make a decision, okay, remember, if you want to make a decision based on all this data, okay, now only considering the height, if you want to make a decision, that's not going to be a big problem. Only based on the weight, if you want to make a decision, that's also going to be taken care. Okay, means to say only on one particular physical parameter, if you want to take a decision, it's going to be easier. But if there are plenty of decisions, let's say vibration, temperature, humidity, moisture content, okay, right, like this. Okay, so if there are plenty of informations required, gathered at a particular place, and based on all these parameters, if you want to take a data, then analysis is going to become more and more complex. Okay, now this concept is going to be what is called as here the data analytics, or the big data analytics. Okay, now the concept of big data applies to what, the large, diverse and complex data sets. Okay, so the data is large, the data is diverse, okay, and the data is going to be the complex. Okay, now what it is for, it is for in order to make the decision making concerning about the strategy. What is the strategy that I need to adopt? For that I am going to make the decision making. Okay, now this is a very important one, that is the big data analytics. Then we have autonomous robots. Okay, other the thing. Now if you just assume the autonomous robots, the absence of autonomous robots. Okay, in the absence of autonomous robots, mainly you as a human being, you may have to do many operations now. Okay, in the absence of autonomous robots, you may have to take the decision. In the absence of autonomous robots, you may have to move the material. Okay, now all these things are going to be present. But with the advent of what is called as your robots, okay, basically the use of autonomous robots will accelerate. Okay, will accelerate the prospects of the industry, the 4.0. Okay, right. The robots are used in manufacturing industries in order to solve complex tasks which cannot be solved easily by the human being. Okay, this is what is known to us. And we also know that now in order to implement the just-in-time strategies, okay, in order to implement the just-in-time strategies, okay, now the usage of robots are going to be more better, okay, than any of the other thing. That means continuous improvements if they do not opt for autonomous robots. Okay, now that what he says is, it is not possible for you to fully meet, okay, not possible for you to fully meet the jet strategies and continuous improvements if you can't able to opt for the autonomous robots. Okay, right. And where are all the application of the robots are going to be? The robots could be used in several areas such as production, logistic, distribution activities, and all the different stuff. Okay, so the autonomous robots are nowadays we are also having what are called as the cobots. Okay, if you observe, there is one more new words which are coming to picture. It is called as what is called as the cobots. Okay, cobots are nothing but what are called as the collaborative robots. Okay, cobots are nothing but collaborative robots. Okay, the meaning of collaborative robots is nothing but the human is going to be there, and you have what are going to be called as the robots are going to be there. Okay, now I am also going to be present, and robots are also going to be present. So both of us are going to interact and carry out the operation, which generally we call it as what is called as the cobots. Okay, so this is another thing which is going to be present along with that of autonomous robots. Okay, right. Autonomous robots, in a sense, it is completely completely attended by the industrial robots, that is completely autonomous. But cobots will have the hybrid. Both the robots are also going to be there, and also the human beings are also going to be present. Okay, right. Then one more. The additive manufacturing, the component is nothing but the additive manufacturing. Now, as we understood earlier itself, additive manufacturing, it's also called as the 3D printing. Okay, is a key technology that driving industry for. So as you know, additive manufacturing is converting the digital 3D model. Okay, converting digital 3D model into a work part by using a 3D printer with the concept of what is called as the layer and layering technique. Okay, with the consent of layer and layer technique, we are going to build the work part from where? From the digital 3D images. Okay, so that is the thing. Now, in this case, so as you are aware, 3D printing is the emerging field which has come into a picture. Okay, right. And additive manufacturing offers a huge scope of possibilities for manufacturing, from tooling to mass customization. Okay, that is the additive manufacturing will make you to go with what is called as the mass production possible with the usage of what is called as the 3D printing. Okay, right. Then next one is the another one which is called as augmented reality. Okay, right. So sometime back I just shared some small information. It is some piece of information to you. Okay, related to the augmented reality. Right. Now basically the augmented reality is nothing but there is a physical thing is going to be there. Now a physical machine is going to be there. Now to that physical machine, you try to give a digital superimposition. Okay, that is called as your augmented reality. Okay, in that there was one simple app which was there, which is developed by IKEA, the furniture manufacturer industry. Okay, so as you are aware, okay, if you go to a IKEA shop, okay, and you have the different furnitures which are going to be present. Okay, now they have an augmented reality app. Now you can capture that and you can ensure how that particular sofa or the chair or the bed, how it is going to look in your area. Okay, that means in your bedroom or in your hall or in your the area, how it going to look like. Okay, now that can be viewed with the help of what is called as your augmented reality. Now, okay, you might have observed in the movies and all, probably you might have also used it. Okay, so the variables are going to be there. Okay, uh, what are called as the augmented reality glasses are available. Okay, the Google glasses. Okay, the Google is given there. The Google glasses are going to be there. If you can wear that and you can see the different clusters or different features of a particular the images. Okay, that is called as your augmented reality. He says the augmented reality bridges the gap between the digital and physical worlds. Okay, it bridges the gap between the digital and physical world by superimposing, okay, the virtual images onto a physical object. Okay, onto a physical object, let's say on a machine. Okay, you could able to see the specification of the machine, how the rapid speed is going to be present. Okay, all that can be possible, but there should be what are called as the AR capable devices, okay, which are going to be generally called as your the smart glasses or the AR glasses, which are going to be present. Okay, now in the context of manufacturing, what is this? In the context of manufacturing, that is our industry 4.0, the augmented reality could enable the workers to speed up the assembly process and to improve the decision making. Okay, now by wearing the headgear that you probably observe, okay, the vision, the cameras, whatever it is, okay, now you can able to make the decision faster. That means, he says, the AR glasses could be used to project the data, okay, such as the layout, assembly guidelines, the sites of means to say, what is the you try to understand here is, now by having a Google Glass, okay, Google glasses or whatever it is. Now, what is best that you can able to make is, okay, you can have an observation. Okay, you can have an observation how the manufacturing things are going to happen, or how best I can able to improve this. Okay, that is called as your augmented reality. Okay, then we have horizontal and vertical integration. Okay, the simplest way, if I sell horizontal integration is something, but in the similar facility, means in the shop floor. In the shop floor, how you have interconnected the machines. Okay, under simple way you understand. Okay, horizontal integration means how you can able to integrate the machines which are in the same level of manufacturing. That means that is in the shop floor. Okay, all the machines. How are you going to connect? That is called as your horizontal integration. Okay, now if you could have only horizontal integration, it is not much advantage for you. Okay, now the requirement is to have a vertical integration also. Vertical integration says what? Vertical integration is means you have a CEO, high level management, then you have what is that the managerial levels are going to be present, then you have supervisory levels is going to be present, then you have the shop level managers which are going to, or the supervisor who are going to be present. Okay. Now horizontal integration takes care about only one particular layer. Okay, that is the communication between the top level. Okay, it is horizontal integration. Communication between only managers, communication between only the plant heads, communication between only the shop supervisors. Okay, those are called the horizontal integration. But if you have only horizontal integration, the information will not flow from top to bottom or bottom to top. Okay, now this is very, very important. In order to make this to happen, the vertical integration is also necessary. So vertical integration makes it even better. That means now vertical integration takes care of what is called as the hierarchy into the picture. Okay, now it sees to that. Okay, it makes sure that the information is going to pass from the lower level to the top level, or from top level to the bottom level. Okay, now how are you going to integrate in order to make this to happen is called as the horizontal and vertical integration. Okay, then we have the last one called as the supply chain. Okay, so supply chain is nothing but what? Basically supply chain is nothing but the concept of moving. Okay, right. So now this is the new trend which is going on, which we generally call it as SCM. Okay, so SCM is nothing but supply chain management. Okay, so this is the one which is largely which is going on. Okay, now what is the manufacturing system is moving towards a more digitized, obviously the automated, agile, it is fast, and there should be efficient operation. Okay, therefore, in order to make this efficient, in order to make all this to happen, digitization to happen, automate to happen, and in order to inculcate what is called as agility. Okay, so what is required is a supply chain network is going to build. Okay, to build a supply chain network is very, very important. Okay, now what supply chain means about? Okay, supply chain means is now in order to create a multifaceted ecosystem, linking product development. Okay, product development. Okay, right, and then product manufacturing and distribution networks into a one fully transparent and digitized system. That means to say the supply chain connects. Okay, connects or addresses the logistic issue. Okay, addresses the logistic issues of the manufacturing. Okay, now these are all the various 9 different things which are going to be present. Okay, so just to go with the completeness. Okay, so we have what is called as the industrial internet of things, cyber security, cloud computing, additive manufacturing, supply chain, big data analytics, autonomous robots, and simulation and augmented reality, and horizontal and vertical integration. Okay, now these are the components, okay, of the industry 4.0, and important from the exam point of view. Okay, right. Then we'll try to look at the benefits of industry 4.0 or advantages of industry 4.0. Okay, so some of the points that I have discussed. Okay, it is improved productivity. Okay, obviously, then more amount of efficiency is going to be there, and very importantly, increased knowledge sharing and collaborative working. Okay, now why the collaborative working has come into picture here is because of what is called as the integration that is possible. Okay, now we in the previous case we have discussed what was called as the components of industry 4.0. In that case, there are something called as horizontal and vertical integration. Okay, which says about what? Communication between the same level, and also communication between the hierarchical level. Okay, so which enhances the sharing of the knowledge from one level to another level, and also it promotes to you to have a collaborative working. Okay, and flexibility is going to be there, and you can give the fastness to the manufacturing, that is it is agile, makes compliance easier. Compliance is something, but if there is any mistakes which are going to be present, okay, you need to comply. Okay, you need to comply to those mistakes in a way of cutting down, or in a way of reducing those mistakes. Okay, now with a good amount of with a good amount of information which is going to be present. Okay, with a good amount of information which is going to be present. Okay, right, we can able to have what is called as the amount of what is that information which is going to be present, you can have more amount of the compliance can be possible. Then better customer experience. Okay, so better customer experience is going to be present. Okay, right, then it reduces the cost of manufacturing, and it creates innovation opportunities. Okay, mainly it creates innovation opportunities, and higher revenues is possible, and increase profitability and getting a ROI, okay, return on investment. Okay, so you can have a list and you can proceed. Okay, right. So some of the applications of Industry 4.0. Now these are all the things. Okay, Internet of Objects or Internet of Things. Okay, then embedded software. Now whatever the components or the things that we have discussed, big data and data analytics. Then machine to machine communication. Okay, then cloud solutions, intelligent robot automation system, augmented reality, simulation, additive manufacturing, cyber security, SCADA, okay, that is monitoring system, mobile devices, smart sensors, smart objects, remote control. Just listed what are all the various areas through which this Industry 4.0 can be developed. Okay, right. Then we have a small thing, okay, so called as your cyber physical systems. Okay, now what do you mean by cyber physical system? That is CPS. Okay, so I can just observe the CPS is nothing but the cyber physical system is nothing but the okay in okay, so cyber physical system is nothing but so there is a system collaborating computation elements controlling the physical entities. Means to say, in case of cyber physical systems, so we have the computation to be carried out, communication and control of what? Okay, what computation, what type of communication, what type of control that you need to make is with respect to cyber physical system. Means to say, CPS are nothing but cyber physical systems are nothing but physical and engineered systems. Okay, physical and engineered system whose operations are monitored. Okay, whose operations are monitored. Okay, coordinated, controlled, and integrated. Okay, the physical systems may be the machines, maybe human being, okay, maybe material handling equipment, maybe what are called as the storage devices. Okay, so these are all the physical systems. Now these physical systems are the engineered system. How are you going to monitor? Okay, how are you going to coordinate, and how are you going to control, and how are you going to integrate? Okay, now CPS will take care about the cyber physical system takes care about monitoring, coordinating, controlling, and integrating these physical system, okay, through computation means or through communication means or controlling means. Okay, now this is generally called as what is called as your cyber physical system all about. Okay, right. Then what are the challenges in implementation of Industry 4.0? Okay, first thing is IT security issues are going to be there. That is, cyber security issues are going to be there, and reliability and stability needed for critical machine-to-machine communication. Okay, so that problem is going to be there, and need to maintain the integrity of production processes. The problem of having a better production process is going to come into picture. Okay, so that is the main problem, and IT issues are going to come into picture. Okay, and main importantly, lack of adequate skill sets which are going to be present. Okay, so skill sets are going to be there. Then general reluctance to change by stakeholders, and loss of many jobs are going to be there. Okay, right. Now I think I'm just having meeting with the principal at 10:15 now for me. Okay, regarding some of the other issues. So I'll may not possible for me to continue with this. Okay, I think I have just been faster at the end. Okay, so I'll just come back and I will try to complete this issue in the next class. Okay, so I request all of you to please type your USN number. Okay, in the chat box. So I'll just take up the work tomorrow. Okay, we'll just try to finish off this chapter by tomorrow. Okay, so another 2-3 topics are there. We'll finish it off.